This is the Newsload.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anne Stevenson, and you're here with Newsload, and we're here today with Steve Hofstetter. Hello, Steve. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking. I already asked, but I'll ask again. Where are you right now?
I'm in my hotel room in Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. That's amazing. What are your plans today?
I figure I'd go try to find a third lamp for this little corner. I don't know why there are two lamps here. My plans today, I have a show tonight. And before then, just kind of relaxing. I got my dog with me.
Oh.
So say hi, Daubert. Yeah, I'll probably walk him around once it stops raining. But aside from that, pretty chill day.
That's amazing. So that's kind of how you fill your day. You walk around with your dog and maybe shop and grab some local snacks.
Well, most days he's trying to poke his head up again. Most days, the only reason I have the full day is because we had a day off yesterday. We had to do some rescheduling because of some travel conflicts, but usually most of the day is spent getting to the next gig. I'm typically in each city just for one show. I'm looking forward in my Ontario tour. Thankfully, a lot of the cities are close to each other, so it's only an hour or two drive. It doesn't take the whole day, but tomorrow we're going to Duluth, which is 3 hours, and plus stops because there are three of us all who have different timed bladders, so we constantly have to stop on the road. But that's how it works. Part of the tour.
Who are you touring with? The other people?
So this current tour I'm doing is John Bander and Andrew Rivers. And then I have a local opener on each show as well. So it's just a different person on each show. I'm excited for tonight. Sam Shedler, who is just phenomenally funny, and he's gotten into stand-up recently, but he was producing just kind of vlog content, and he's just so funny. And so being able to have him on the show is great. And then on the Canada tour, it's going to be Brett Druck.
Oh, do you scout out your openers specifically?
So on each show, there's kind of three positions aside from me. There's the support act, and those are typically people I've been touring with for a very long time. I rotate between four people. That's Brett, Andrew, Kelly Collette, and Jarrett Berenstein. And then there's also a tour manager position, which is a comic as well, and that's John Bander and Mark Shimkitz. Mark this year has been battling cancer, so he hasn't been able to do many shows. So Georgia Warder has been filling in as well. And then there's the local opener spot, and that's one where I take submissions for. I have a simple little Google form. I've gotten almost 1,000 submissions for this year. And I just kind of go through them, and it's sometimes it's a yes, sometimes a no, sometimes it's a maybe. Depending, I'm looking for professionalism. I'm looking for someone who fits with my audience. And I'm looking for clever.
Clever. That's good. I guess we can start from the beginning of your story. Where were you born?
I'm born and raised in Queens, New York. It's it's weird as a New Yorker. Queens is seen as kind of like small time almost, but there's 2.2 million people that live in the borough. So it's a pretty big place. And yeah, lived there for a very long time. Started stand up in New York City. Eventually moved out to LA. And now I live in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Those
Yeah.
are big transitions.
Yeah, but life's full of that. And that's something where a lot of people are scared of change, and frankly, I crave it. I'm always interested in, the new adventure, something exciting.
Um, was your mom very supportive of your comedy career?
hmm Yeah, my both my parents right away were very supportive, which is uncommon. Um, but I think it helped at the time that I didn't have a job, so it's not like I left a lucrative career to pursue stand up. Like no, I left my dad's couch to pursue stand up. So that made it a little easier. Um, My father raised me on stand-up comedy. So he was excited right from the get-go. And my mother just likes seeing me try things that make me happy. And so, she'll often say something like, like she doesn't, oh, I didn't understand that joke, but I'm glad people liked it. Like stuff like that. So,
That's wonderful. Being on the road a lot, is it
Mhm.
difficult to have a relationship?
Well, I'm married, so let's hope not. Um, it's definitely something that like kind of delayed that part of my life for a while. Being on the road has ruined friendships, has ruined relationships, just because, I'm not around. My wife and I make a concerted effort that she for the most part uses her PTO to come see me on the road. I try to fly back whenever I can. And we try to schedule time to be with each other. And when I am home, we're inseparable. So that helps a lot too.
That's wonderful. So you sort of rekindle when you get back.
It's not even rekindle. It's always kindled. I mean, we talk constantly. Like, I don't understand the people who, they'll go on the road and they'll be like, "All right, talk to you Tuesday," and it's like, no, we text throughout the day. We always have a call to say goodnight. We always have a call to say good morning. I mean, we're still in a relationship, even if I'm in a hotel room in Minneapolis.
It's keeping the relationship. It's keeping the communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you have any crazy fans?
I've certainly had crazy fans. I've had fans I've had to quote unquote break up with, where I've had to, put my foot down and be like, this has to stop. Um, that can happen sometimes. It's, they call it a parasocial relationship. I especially with me because I am very much in my own comment section talking to people. I do a lot of videos where I'm doing straight to camera, and so people feel like you're talking to them individually and not just a large group of people. And so most people get it, and most people are absolutely delightful. And then, there are some that take it too far. It happens. I've thankfully, as far as I know, never been in any danger, but I've definitely been weirded out a couple of times.
What was the weirdest thing that happened?
Someone stuck their head in the side door of my tour bus and like breathed in as if they were smelling it, which was so gross because it's like there are four dudes touring in this thing. Like it's not a smell anybody likes. So yeah, that one was that stands out to me. That was weird.
Has anybody given you their underwear?
No, but someone tried to buy mine.
Really?
Which was a little weird. Someone tried to someone up to John Bander, the tour manager, and offered like $100 for my underwear, and he knows everyone I tour with. There's a running joke of protect the Steve, and the it's just because I like people when they are respectful and in small doses. And I get overwhelmed. I suffer from a great deal of anxiety, and so they know that there are certain things that are absolutely beyond the pale for me and not okay. Like I don't even shake hands after shows. I elbow bump if someone wants to. Um and so John shut it down immediately, and I told him after. I was like, "What are you doing, man? Take the $100, give her a pair of yours. I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna sell my underwear, but if you want to make $100 off of it, go for it." So,
And what is the tour underwear situation? Do you buy like 10 packs and, just go through them, or what's the what's the
well, we're
underwear?
not on tour for 2 years at a time. I mean, it's something. Also, some of the bigger venues will have washers and dryers, and so typically, the longest I'm on tour for is like 6 weeks, and so if you don't own enough underwear to last for 3 weeks, get some more underwear. And thankfully, I tour in a converted Sprinter, so I have a little dresser drawer and everything, and so I can pack a bunch of clothes. I'm not just one suitcase. It's got like a little mini closet, and so that helps a lot. And we just I'll do laundry once on the tour, and the other guys who fly in, they might do it 2 or 3 times, but because they don't want to bring like 3 suitcases.
Yeah, especially with baggage claim now and everything, lost luggage and all of that frustration.
Yeah, it's a little easier for me since we always leave from where I live.
And your hotel looks lovely, but I'm sure you've had some scuzzy hotels as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm beyond my days of scuzzy hotels now. But certainly in the beginning, I mean, it was, I was lucky to have a $40 a night motel. I mean, there was once where I had the do not disturb on. I had just come out of the shower. I'm in this like motel. I was naked, and housekeeping just opens the door. And I like scream for them to get out, and they do. And I go over to the desk afterward, and I was like, hey man, we got a bit of a problem. And the guy just goes, no, no problem. And I was like, no, no, I decide if there's a problem. You don't get to say this wasn't a problem. I had someone walk in on me naked. That is a problem. So but I was in my early 20s, so I did not need as much from the world as I do now. I was just excited to be doing comedy.
How do you deal with ego with unprofessional comics?
Um, Clarify a little bit.
Um, I guess basically my issue right now is I'm getting booked for spots and some are not, and I'm getting, like, oh, I hope that they call in sick or something so that I can get their spot kind of thing.
Oh, well, so I have a submission process for local openers, and I just direct people to it. And every now and then, if someone will just like, i- if someone is professionally touring as long as I have been, the shows are booked ahead of time. It's not like I'm just, waiting on someone to message me on Facebook in order to, oh, finally, without you, we would have had to cancel. And every now and then, someone will comment and been like, yo, can I open for you? And my standard reply is tag which comedian you want me to fire, but make sure that you tag them so that they can see it. And, of course, people back down because what a lot of people don't realize is that like we're not going to add time to the show. The show is already a packed show. So who is it do you want to replace? It's not just do you want this, it's who should I take it away from?
And have comics been rude to you backstage or anything?
No. Well, first of all, any comic who can get backstage at one of my shows is someone who is not going to be rude to me. Like there's a level of protection, thankfully. But yeah, I mean, I've when I did the Edinburgh Fringe, there was a guy that because on those shows, you're on a random showcase show. It's not just your show, also. And there was a guy who was a total jerk to me, but that can happen. People in any profession that can happen, and so you just have to remember that like don't take someone else's demons personally. He's not a jerk to me. He's a jerk, and I was there.
What do you find the differences between American audiences and Canadian audiences?
Um, I find that there used to be more of a difference. Our culture unfortunately has been bleeding up, and my apologies. Um, but I find that American audiences view comedy more of a sideshow, more than in other places. Like in other places, it's more of like, this is the main event, and people get like, we paid money to be here. We want this to be good. And there's more in some American audiences, there's more of an undercurrent of like, this better be good. And that's a much different attitude. Now that said, I am lucky to be in this situation where like my audiences are not the average audience because they come to see me. They're not just a random collection of people. But culturally, I find that there's more respect of the craft in other places than there is in the States.
Have you been starstruck?
Yeah, yeah, I met Willie Mays.
Oh,
And I say
really?
met, I mean I was adjacent to Willie Mays. Yeah, I don't really get starstruck because from the time I mean I was a baseball beat writer at 20 years old. I was interviewing some of my heroes I grew up with. you know, I mean, Yogi Berra jokingly asked me if I would play for his team. He had a minor league team, and like a bunch of them kept getting injured, and I was interviewing him about it, and then he just looks at me and goes, "Can you hit?" And so, like, I mean, that happened to me when I was 20. So, like, I've been used to being around that, but Willie Mays is different. Willie Mays is a completely different orbit. I didn't say a word. I just stood there and listened to him talk to someone else. That's all that happened.
It was wonderful, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, just he's an absolute legend, and it was.
Oh, Steve, that's so wonderful to hear. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. I'm a big fan, and I can't wait for you to come to London. I'm really excited about that show. And if you could do one more thing for me, if you don't mind, well, actually two. How do we keep track of your tour?
Sure. It's stevehofstetter.com. And you know, if it's not enough that Hofstetter is on screen, Google will also correct you on the spelling.
I deal with that all the time. And one last thing, if you don't mind, if you can say it loud, say it proud, I love Newsload.
I don't know enough about it to say that, but I will just say that, you know, I appreciate Newsload having me on, and, you know, and
This is the Newsload.